All right. Okay. I guess it would help if I wasn't on mute, right? How's everyone doing? Good Sunday morning to all of you. Hopefully you guys have all had your coffee. I've got my Ember travel mug here. Um, okay, Mikey, I think I fixed it. I was actually on mute. That wasn't your guys' fault. Okay, cool. Awesome. So yeah, we're gonna be happy. We're gonna be hacking APIs and mobile apps today. So for those of you in the last episode of the Hitchhiker's Guide to Hacking APIs, I walked through how to actually set up your attack lab, what tools you're going to be using in your lab, and some of the tactics and techniques. And some of you came back and said, "Hey, Alyssa, this is awesome, but we want to actually see you walking through some hacks." So that's what we're going to do in this episode today. So just a heads up, I'm using a service called Restream, and it actually codifies the chat from all of the different platforms. So this morning we're live on Twitter, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, we're live on LinkedIn. And I can only send a chat, an active chat response on Twitter Live and YouTube Live, as well as Restream. I cannot send chat messages to LinkedIn or Facebook Live. But I can see your messages. So just a heads up, just again, some more basic housekeeping. The chat, there were some inappropriate messages put in the chat in the last live stream. And I just want you guys to know, guys and girls to know, they're very strict about the chat messages. So keep it clean. I don't want to see anybody, getting blocked on platforms or anything like that. So again, as you guys and as all of you can see on the right-hand side, it's streaming all of the chat messages from all of the different platforms. I thought it would be cool for all of you to see some of the questions that are coming in. So when I'm answering Q&A, a lot of you can see the questions that are flying in. So again, just keep it clean. Everyone can see your chat messages as well as the platform. The platforms that I'm streaming on, and they did take action on some users that went a little too far in the last stream. So you're probably wondering, Alyssa, what the hell is that? It's a drone. So a lot of you are familiar with my law enforcement research for hacking law enforcement vehicles, and law enforcement actually came to me and said, "Hey, look, that was really cool what you did with the vehicles. Can you hack our drones?" Because a lot of law enforcement agencies actually have drone programs now. And so, yeah, so I'm going to be hacking drones. I also bought this just to record some B-roll. So this is the DJI Phantom 4. For those of you who are drone nerds or addicted to drone flying, drone piloting, sorry, like I am. So anyway, on the chat side, if all of you can just do me a favor, everyone smash that like button and also smash that subscribe button on YouTube. About 80% of the people that come to my YouTube channel do not subscribe. So I'm hoping that with these live streams, all of you can pay me back with the content and my vulnerability research by simply just subscribing to my YouTube channel and also watching the videos. So I know it's not personal. I know it's not personal. I even forget to subscribe to people's YouTube channels when I'm going to their channel to watch videos a lot. But again, it's the best way that you can support content creators is to subscribe to their channel, reshare their posts, and like their posts as well. So please take a minute here to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you reward me for all my hard work. This is just a shameless plug for my book. For those of you who have not purchased it, there's a Kindle version of the book. It was published through Wiley in February. So also I am working on I'm going to be announcing a competition here to get to, so right now across all my platforms I have 70,000 followers. And on YouTube though, I think I have about 2,600 or 2,500. The 5,000th person to subscribe to my YouTube channel will get an autographed copy, signed book from me in the mail. So definitely, again, hit the subscribe button. But if you have not bought this book, I think it's a great book. It covers the tactics and techniques of hacking connected cars. It is the first book on hacking connected cars. There's another book on hacking cars that covers the CAN bus and the other things that you can do while you're inside the vehicle. As all of you know who follow my research, you know that I tend to like to hack things remotely, right? I don't care about the adversary as much that's able to get into my car and connect into the CAN bus. That's not to say that that research isn't important. It is. But I care more about the adversary that's sitting in their living room and hacking my car from the comfort of their home. So that's what the book is all about. Um, Also, remember to put your questions into the chat, and I'll go ahead and answer questions in real time. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me put this down. Got a little bit more space to work with. Oh, all of you guys may be seeing and when I say guys, I mean girls too. It's just the, plural sense of both genders. But you guys see the closet behind me? Yes, the custom closet in my recording studio finally went in. Yay! Oh, wrong one. Okay, yeah, that was lame. All right, I really love my sound effects. I'm going to use them as much as I can. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. If any of you have any questions, please pop them into the chat. Now, I'm about to share my desktop for a lot of you, so I promised no PowerPoints. I promised it. No PowerPoints today. We're going to be doing all hands on shell, hands on keyboard. We are attacking two things today. Number one, we're going to do static code analysis of mobile apps. Now that's mHealth apps. And then the API that we are going to be attacking is the Ford API. Now you're probably wondering, oh my God, Alyssa, I can't believe you said that. I don't know how to get around it. I can't blur things in real time when I'm doing a live stream. Also, Ford is part of the Bug Crowd Bounty program. So that's another reason why I decided to go after the Ford APIs today and what we're going to be doing because number one, they're part of the Bug Bounty program. I'm a registered Bug Crowd bounty hunter over at Bug Crowd. So they, as well as Fiat Chrysler, are as well. So I chose Ford, and I'm talking about Ford because they're part of the bug bounty program. So you trolls, put your guns down. They are registered, and their APIs, star.ford.com, I remember, are actually in-scope targets for their bounty program. So yeah, so no trolling. Unless you have a way to, in real time, blur things on a live stream, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, no one key my car. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. One thing I do want to know is I am not going to be able to see the chat messages while I'm sharing my screen because I'm going to be in my terminal window. Actually, I have a monitor up behind me. What I will do is I will switch to that screen. Let me see. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. All right, yeah, I'm not going to be able to see your chat messages. So I will flip back to the screen. Once I share my screen, I'll flip back and check chat messages every once in a while to see if there's any questions flying in. If I don't get to, don't get upset. It means I just probably didn't see your question. All right, let's do this. All right, so the neat thing about Restream is it does picture in picture. So yeah, all right, is everyone ready? Can everyone see my screen? All right, let's do this. Okay, so one of the first things that I want to do is I want to explain the mobile app interception. This is the first thing that you're going to do when you're going after an API is you're going to first do static code analysis, see if you can find hard-coded API keys and tokens in the mobile apps. This is a very common thing. Yes, it's 2021 and we're still hard-coding usernames and passwords as well as API keys and tokens in our mobile apps. It's still a thing. So I'm hoping that the vulnerability research that I'm doing will help spark discourse and colloquy around this very important topic and discussion of developers doing this because it's horrible. It's we should be doing it. There should definitely be, at the very least, code obfuscation being done. But doing things like this and what you're about to see today, and I will, again, I can't blur it, so you guys will all see the keys and tokens that are being found in these apps. The first app the app we're going to go after is an M Health app. I think it's called Plush Healthcare. It's a mobile health app. For those of you who did not see the trailer videos as well as the report, go to my YouTube channel if you're not watching this from YouTube, and you will see the 2 trailer videos that I created on me hacking 30 mobile health apps. And then we're going to get into the actual network interdiction and then go after Ford's API servers, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. All right, so again, let's start out with the static code analysis. The first tool that you're going to want to do is install MobSF. It stands for Mobile Security Framework. It's a free open source tool. You're going to see it right here in the terminal window. And all you can see that I did is I just went into the directory after installing it and I typed run.sh. It's a shell script that just starts up MobSF. Now, please do not ask me to walk through the setup and installation right now. There are 2 LinkedIn articles on my LinkedIn profile. If you go to my LinkedIn Pulse or if you go to my blog on alyssaknight.com, you will see the blog articles as well as my Medium site where you can see the articles there. There are 2 articles that I walk you through setting up and installing MobSF. Now, there is a new security feature that was introduced into Mac OS Big Sur, and I couldn't figure out why MobSF wasn't installing. And there's an article that I published on LinkedIn called Big Sur Update for this research. And it gives you the commands that you need to run in order to get it working on Big Sur. Apple is always implementing more security controls in every new release of their operating system. We saw this with the driver signing issue, with virtual camera support. At least me as a content creator and cinematographer, a lot of things got broken in that. So this isn't a big surprise. There's a workaround. It's like 2 or 3 commands you need to run, and you're off to the races and you're up and running. So if you have any problems setting up and installing MobSF on Big Sur, there's an article on it. Now, trolls, put your guns down. Yes, this is possible to do on a PC, and yes, this is possible to not do with an iPhone. But I'm an Apple user. I'm a diehard, addicted to the Kool-Aid, addicted to the Apple juju. I'm an Apple girl, and everything I do will always be on an Apple. Either my Mac Pro, my iMac, or my iPhone. Get over it. If you're a hardcore PC user, yes, I also use Ubuntu. I also use Kali. I use other operating systems, but my main platform is OS X. So yeah, if you have a problem with it, sorry. I'm an Apple girl. But yes, these commands, this network interdiction, the static code analysis is possible on a PC and an Android device. As a matter of fact, in order to extract the APK files, I did that on a Samsung Galaxy. So I have a Samsung, I have an Android, I have an iPhone. The Android is used for this kind of vulnerability research. I don't use it as a phone. I use it for vulnerability research. All right, let's get on with the show. MobSF was started. It's once you run SH, you're just going to load up your web browser and point to port 8000, which is where it's going to be running. And all of you can see it right here. All right, this is MobSF. It gives you a very sexy, pretty GUI in order for you to hack things. We love easy, right? So work smart, not hard. So here you'll see the PlushCare app. I'm just going to this is an APK file for a mobile health app called PlushCare. I'm just picking on PlushCare because it had the most keys and tokens hard-coded in it in my research. It's nothing vindictive or anything particular about PlushCare. I just chose it because it had the most findings. So you're just going to take this and you're going to drag it over here to the site, and it's going to go through and it's going to process it. Now, if you run into any issues, Google it. You saw that error message. It's probably because, oh, actually, there's no recent scans in there. Completed. That's weird. Yeah, I haven't fully set up MobSF yet. So what we're going to do is, let me go to terminal and see if there's anything in the uploads directory. Oh, I'm going to talk about Minim proxy as well. If you don't know, you're going to be asked for your IP address for the proxy on your phone. You're just going to run ifconfig, grab your IP address, and that's where the proxy will be running. So if you go into the uploads directory, that's where all of your uploads are going to be found. So this right here is just the directory for PlushCare, and once it actually reverses it back to the source code, you're just going to go in there and you can do things like grep space API underscore key star, and it will grep that directory for anything with the word API key in it. Um, I'm not going to sit here and troubleshoot this because I'm just not. I would urge you to walk through this. Again, it's really simple. All you're going to do is you're just gonna drag the file over here to MobSF. It takes maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes at the longest. It depends on how big the app is. This particular app is like 30 megs. But it's just going to walk through, it's going to uncompress it, and it's going to basically reverse it back to the source code. So you'll be able to see all of the findings that MobSF found. Now, MobSF will go through the source code and it'll try and find the API keys and tokens and passwords for you. Don't fully rely on that. MobSF in one particular case found like 30 hard-coded keys and tokens. I went into my command shell and I just did different grep and regex searches in the command shell for those keywords, and I found like 45 or 50 total keys and tokens. So MobSF it'll try its hardest to find everything, but don't fully rely on it. Look for keywords like underscore token or keyword underscore key. Just look, grep is your friend. I trust the command line over a GUI any day. So for those of you who want me to actually walk through the static code analysis, I'm going to do another show. As you know, I do these live streams once a week. I can do this in the next show. I'll troubleshoot through this error message, and we can do it in the next show. So I wanted to focus more on hacking APIs in this show anyway, and we'll do the network interdiction now. So next, after you're done and you've grabbed all the keys and tokens, you're like, okay, Alyssa, I'm ready to go after the API now. The neat thing about that is, again, you've got your keys and tokens, but a lot of the times I don't even really need them. If you notice in the mHealth report, I think I found 114 hard-coded API keys and tokens and credentials in those apps. And I didn't even use them in the actual API attacks. The Ebola vulnerabilities were the ones that I used to compromise those APIs and gain access to other patient healthcare records, X-rays, allergy information, all the PHI. And I didn't really even use them, but I wanted to put them in there to underscore the dangers of hard coding keys and tokens in apps, and how easy it is to find them. So anyway, I'm going to show all of you two different tools that I use to do this attack. So the first one is midem proxy. You guys will see me pass the -- set console mouse equals to false flag to this. So what it's going to do is it's going to sit here and it's going to wait for traffic. Right now it's listening on port 8080 of my host. Now all of you can't see this, but within your iPhone, okay, you can go in there and you can set a proxy. And again, this is in my help article. And I don't know if you can see that very well, but the proxy information is hard coded in there. And it's just the IP address of my Mac Pro and port 8080, which is where midem proxy is listening. Okay, do all of you see that? Do you see that packet just come up? It's a get request to Apple. So it's already capturing traffic. All right. So what I've done is I'm saying all traffic for my phone, I want it to be routed through midem proxy, which is running on my computer. So that's how. Now, a lot of you are saying, Alyssa, but how did you do that? It's supposed to be SSL encrypted. I see HTTPS there. It's because midem proxy is specifically designed to not just intercept the traffic, but also decrypt it. And what happens is when you have things like forward pass, and a lot of you can see the popping up there. What's happening is these apps are not implementing certificate pinning, right? So this is why it's so dangerous not to have pinning implemented on your app, is because of this. So what midem proxy is doing is you need to think of it kind of like TV remote control. Book. All right. So let's say that this is the API server and this is the mobile app. All right. In a normal situation, the mobile app is going to communicate with the API server and they're going to exchange keys, right? Typical SSL, TLS, whatever. A man in the middle attack, or what I like to call woman in the middle attack, um, we're all equal. We're all equal. Um, is the person in the middle attack or woman standing here will present a key to the mobile app and say, hey, I'm the API server. And it will also send a key to the API server and say, hey, I'm the mobile app. And so both endpoints are actually communicating through my coffee cup, through the woman in the middle. And they both think they're communicating directly with each other, but they're not. They're communicating with the woman in the middle. So because she has the certificates for both ends of the conversation, she's able to decrypt all of the data. Okay. That's a woman in the middle attack. And Midden proxy basically is doing that. So here in this case, let me go down to one of these packets for Ford is, oh, and by the way, there's a really cool filter feature in Midden proxy where if you hit F, I can type in Ford and hit enter, and it's only going to show me the Ford packets. All right. So here I'm going to scroll down to, let's pull up something fun. Here is vehicle alerts and details or status on the actual car. So I click on that, and do all of you see that? That is here's your token. There's the payload or the query being issued to the API server. All of this is decrypted. It would not have been able to be seen if I was using just like Wireshark, right? But here I have the actual GET request that's being sent to the API server. Now watch this. All right. I'm going to send a lock command on the Ford mobile app. Okay, watch this. Everyone watch the screen. Okay, do you see that? Did you see that right there? Look at that right there. That is the GET request. This is the API request in order to lock the doors. Okay, so I've just locked the doors of the car, and it's a simple put request. Okay, and I don't know if you guys can see that on the screen, but it just said doors locked successfully. And here you can see it's just a put usapi.cv.forward.com/api/vehicles/v2 and then the VIN and then /door/lock. That's it. That's all the mobile app is doing is it's sending a put request to the API to lock those doors. Now, a BOLA vulnerability, broken object level authorization. For those of you who are not familiar with what a BOLA vulnerability is I like to use the analogy of a cocktail party. All right. Let's say my wife and I, Mel, go to a cocktail party. And let's say, I don't know, who should we pick on? Let's pick on Mike. Mike's in front of us in the line, and he hands the coat check person a Burberry coat and a Burberry wallet. And Mel and I look at each other and we're like, wow, do you see that? I like that Burberry coat. And Mel's like, I like that Burberry wallet. Let's steal them. So the coat check person hands Mike a little ticket that says 18. He's number 18. So when he leaves the cocktail party, he's going to give that ticket to the closet check and say, give me my stuff. I have ticket number 18. The coat check person's going to line up that 18 and say, oh, okay. And he's going to go back and he's going to grab his Burberry coat and wallet and give it back to him. Now, Mel and I come up behind him and we say, we want that Burberry coat and wallet. So we get number 17. So we take that ticket, and Mel's got a Sharpie on her because she's always got a Sharpie on her, apparently. And we change that 7 to an 8. Real easy to do, right? Make a 7 look like an 8 with a Sharpie. We wait like an hour. We have a few drinks. We're like ready to go, ready to do this thing, this hijack, this like ultra sophisticated BOLA hijack. And we go to the coat check and we hand the new number where we turn that 7 into an 8. Coat check person says, okay, you're number 18. So he goes back there and he grabs the Burberry coat and Burberry wallet and hands it to us. That is a great example of a BOLA vulnerability. And so here in this case, I'm authenticated. I should be in that cocktail party. I have a ticket. I clearly have given the quote person my stuff. I have a ticket. I'm authenticated, but I'm not authorized to request Mike's items. Authentication and authorization. Developers, there's a difference between the two. Authentication and authorization. You're authenticated to be there, but you're not authorized to retrieve the data. This is a great example of where there might be a bowl of vulnerability with Ford, where you could possibly, because that put string, because the VIN of the car is in that put string, you can change that, potentially change that VIN, right? I totally just drag and drop that and it freaked out. You can potentially change that put string where that VIN is right there to a different VIN and potentially send up commands, even though that vehicle may not be in my virtual garage, be able to send that put string for a different VIN with doors lock, right? Bowl of vulnerability. I'm authenticated because I have a token, but I'm not authorized to lock those doors. So we get it? Awesome. Okay. So these are the different headers of the packet that the API server is requesting. And so I'm going to show you different tools. For the longest time, I was a Postman girl. I love Postman. And then, so what I would do is I would intercept the packets with MIDM proxy, and then I would paste them into Postman. And what I liked about Postman is I could create a brand new request. And let's say, Ford API hack, okay? And we can throw that into the Ford collection and save it to Ford. So we have a brand new request. All I need to do is change this to put, and then I'm going to copy and paste this URL, okay? And I'm going to paste that here into the URL string. Do you see that? I've now got my put lock command, and then I'm just going to go in here and I'm just going to change all these values, like the key value for host. I'm going to make that USAPI. I hope no one in the audience works for Ford. Nothing personal. Application ID. So this is, I think Ford refers to this as the CAP user ID or the application ID. I can't remember. Anyway. Application ID, and then I paste that value here. And then I'm just going to go here and do that for everything, right? And so a lot of you here, you guys see that response string. All I did was hit the right arrow. And so this was the request sent to Ford's API server to lock the doors. And then the response here in this JSON response, for those of you who are aware of HTTP codes, what does that mean? What does a 200 mean? It means successful, right? So the API server is responding back saying this command was successful. You've locked the doors. Okay. So I'm just going to go through here and I'm just going to copy and paste for in respect of time. I'm not going to do this for everything, but I can just pull up a previous command that I did here. In this case, let's see if we can. Let me see here. These are just historical commands where I sent previous commands to the API server. In this case, this is a lock command or lock status. And then you can see here the Ford server is responding with whether or not the doors are locked on this car. Right. Very juicy information. So here you can see my header information. The really interesting thing here. Okay. Did you all see that? I just sent that send again. You guys pay really close attention. What do you see? What's wrong here? Did you see that? I don't know if you guys caught the date stamp on that, but this was sent back in December, right? And I hit send again. Look what I got back. I got a response. Now, what's wrong with the header? What's wrong with that header, everyone? The auth token. The token is not getting sent. Ford, if you're listening, if you're watching, bad. Shame on you. So their API server will allow you to send a request for the lock status or the information, detailed information on a car on any VIN without passing a token. We just identified a vulnerability live on night TV. You saw it here first. Yeah, shame on you, Ford. Don't do that. So I just sent this. This was a request that I sent back in December, and it's giving me the lock status of the doors. So there's some other juicy information on the API server for Ford that you guys will sort of see in the videos on my YouTube channel, where you can see me hacking Ford vehicles. Okay, so again, all you're doing is you're just transposing this information from Ford's servers, and you're pasting it into that's juicy. You're pasting that information into Postman. Okay. All right. And before I jump into Burp Suite, I'm going to flip back to the chat and see if there's any new chat messages or if anyone's complaining about audio. Oh, Z Lee, need to make it bigger. Yeah, I apologize. Let me see if I can make the font size bigger. Thank you for that. Right now it's at 14. I don't know if your windows allow you to. Did that do anything? I just changed it to 24. Is that 24? I don't know what that is. Let me see. Yeah, it says 24. But it didn't seem like the text change, did it? I'm gonna zoom in. I'll try zooming in. Hopefully that's better. Yep, that's better. Have you see that okay? Okay. Thank you for that, Zeely. Any questions so far? Ruth. Oh my God, Ruth Tobar. Hi, Ruth. Mohammed, hello. Abhishek, I've seen you here before. Thank you. Abhishek has a question. Is there any way we can iOS simulator jailbreak to test without actual device? That is a great question, Abhi. I'm gonna call you Abhi. Is that okay? That's a great question, Abhi. I have never tried that. You do need to watch out though, because a lot of these apps have jailbreak detection to see if you're, sorry, I've had a lot of coffee and like everything's bouncing because I'm shaking my leg. It only, the answer to your question is it depends. It depends if the app that you're hacking has jailbreak detection. A lot of the apps that I've looked at, that's the basic fundamental thing that they have in there is jailbreak detection. So for those of you who don't know what that means, a jailbroken phone is basically where you've taken the phone and you've jailbroken it or rooted it, allowing you to gain access to things that a normal user wouldn't usually be able to access. But a lot of apps typically look to see if they're being run in a jailbroken device or an environment. So Abhi, it depends on the app. So my advice is just go buy a phone, and that's what I hate about, and Karen, I'll get to your question here in a minute. Or your statement. But the thing about the phone is, that's what one of the major complaints that I had in a lot of my research reports is I didn't understand why a lot of these other things that they should have been doing, developers aren't doing, but they've got the jailbreak detection in there. It's almost like they put the jailbreak detection in there and they call it a day. Now, if any of you are, well, we've got a lot of viewers today. Thank you for showing up, everyone, on a Sunday. For those of you who are not familiar with it, and I forgot where I was going to go with that, but what was I going to say? Yeah, it was almost like developers put the jailbreak detection in there and called it a day. For those of you who are developers in the audience, I'm not ripping on developers. I'm not beating you up. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot more to mobile app security than just checking to see if you're being run on a jailbroken phone. Because if you think about it, sorry, I should probably like kill this for a minute. If you think about it, a lot of these attacks that you saw me run this morning, I wasn't running on a jailbroken environment. I wasn't running in a root environment. I was just running the app on my phone. That's all I did. I started at the Ford app and it was up and running. And I pointed the app at my proxy. So for you developers out there, there's a lot more than just jailbroken detection that you want to implement. Oh, also some of the apps that I looked at didn't even implement OAuth or tokens. It was just basic authentication. And then once you authenticated, you could communicate with the API. It was crazy. Like no tokens needed or anything. And that was a financial services mobile app. So Obby Xcode can be helpful, but we can't install clients IP even by the impact. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, Abby. If you look at my article, you actually do need to install Xcode to be able to get the device ID for the phone. But and again, I get it. I understand what you're saying. But unfortunately, a lot of these things are required. My advice to you, if you're a penetration tester, if you're a hacker, if you're evil, if you're a black hat, you're a white hat, gray hat, I don't care, whatever. You're going to want to buy as many devices for your attack lab as possible. If you look behind me, I don't know if you can see that. Hold on, let me go get it. 1 second. Hopefully I didn't just flash all of you just now. Okay, so, I mean, if you look at these devices, like, this is a new one, Blade RF X40. It was the first SDR that Nuance came out with. Like, there's no reason for me to have it, right? But I have it just in case I ever want to attack this particular platform. Same thing with this, or that may be the X9. I have the X40 and the new A9 that they came out with. So you would think like, oh, Alyssa, you can go sell that on OfferUp or something. But I want to keep it because these are all part of my hacking lab. The same thing with this Alpha Wireless card, right? Like I've got all this stuff, Raspberry Pis, right? These are little computers. These are little computers. These things. We need to do an episode on hacking with Raspberry Pis because I'm working on building a dirt box, a mobile dirt box for law enforcement using Raspberry Pis that they can just put into their backpack. So, I mean, these things are amazeballs. Like, there's an entire operating system running on here. It's got a little HDMI port. This is a computer. Like, it's insane. Anyway, like, I have 2 Raspberry Pis for my Bluetooth, for those of you who remember my BLE hacking videos. So it's I have all this stuff. So, Abby, I get where you're going with this, but like definitely go buy an iPhone, go buy an Android, go buy, grab these different platforms because you're probably going to need it in a hacking lab. Karen, this sounds like web server config failures, which has been an issue for decades. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is, especially with Bull vulnerabilities, that's a code issue, right? So there's also, yes, there's configuration issues. There's code issues. There's all kinds of issues here. There really isn't. I think in the report that I wrote for law enforcement, there were like 9 different vulnerabilities I talked about. So this is a real issue. All right, let's do some shout outs. But yeah, Karen, thanks for joining us on your Sunday. Mikey Z, thanks for joining us. Actually, Mikey's just downstairs. Mike's my brother-in-law, for those of you. He's an amazing guy. He's active duty military. And so, yeah, anyway. Abby, thanks for joining us. So, okay, let's go ahead and move back to desktop sharing. All right. So here we see, you can see all of the packets. You can see all of the packets here from the Ford mobile app. Okay, so now I'm going to show all of you Burp Suite. All right, so let's talk about Burp Suite now. So when I first started doing this, hacking APIs and hacking mobile apps, I first started out with Postman. I would take all of the packets from Minim Proxy and I would just paste them into Postman, like all of you guys saw me do just now, and then I would up, and I would interact with the APIs. That 2 tools, when I could just use 1 tool, began to be kind of like a pain in the butt, right? So what I did, let me exit. Sorry, that's my front door. We just installed Ring, and like, it's letting me know someone's at the door. Quit, yes. Okay, so we've now exited Minim Proxy, and I'm going to go ahead and exit Postman. All right, so now, okay, Burp Suite, really cool tool. It's got some automated scanners built into it. It's got a proxy. It's got something called Intruder. It's got something called Repeater, where you can replay packets that you capture within proxy. It's a Swiss Army knife, right? There is a free community edition that all of you can download for free. Sorry. there's a free edition you can download, so you don't have to actually pay for a Burp Suite license. And the other thing is that I purchased Burp Suite Professional. I didn't need to. I could have kept using Community Edition, but there's some other things within Burp Suite that I wanted to use that were part of the paid for. And it's not actually that expensive if you think about it. Because I mean, if you think about it, I think it's even cheaper than a Blade RF, right? So, I mean, the money that you're investing into your hacking lab will pay dividends later. But all right, so let me show you what you do here. So as soon as you log in, you're going to have this dashboard, right? So all we're going to do is we're going to go into proxy. We're going to go to options. We're going to hit add, and we're going to add a proxy listener on our 192.168 interface. This depends on your own home internal network. This might be 10net. This might be 192. Might be 172. But anyway, you're gonna tell Burp Suite's proxy to listen on this particular network interface, and we're gonna tell it to bind to port 8080. All right, so now we hit OK. Now we've got the proxy listening on 192.168.1.34, port 8080 on our host. And I know this is probably really small, everyone. I can't really do anything about that. I don't think I can zoom in on Burp Suite. So now the proxy is listening here, and now you can see some HP history stuff, and then we have some intercept. I'm going to turn intercept off. Just so I can, collect all these packets. I don't need to. When intercept is on, it will allow you in real time to be able to modify the packet before it's sent on to the destination. It's incredibly cool, but I don't really need that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to load up the Ford app again, and I want all of you to see kind of what happens when I'm using Burp Suite. You can see that it's kind of the same stuff, right? I think it's gonna kind of freak out because, oh, there we go. Okay. So here you see, we're starting to capture packets. Now, the neat thing here is I can right click on a packet and I can say send to repeater. All right. And the neat thing here is if I've sent it here to repeater, I can actually modify this packet before it's forwarded on, right? And I can go ahead and send it. So if I want to change this app ID, for example, let's say change this app ID and I want to change that J to a K. You see that? It let me do that. And then I'm just going to hit send. And that's the response from the server, right? So this is an incredibly powerful tool. The neat thing about Burp Suite is everything's kind of in this one platform, right? So let me play with this a little bit. I think that was actually Ring. Hold on one second. All right, it's freaking out about the certificate. Give me 1 minute here. Info, manual, off, save. I'm going to turn proxy back on. And it's 192.168. Do all of you remember the IP? I can't remember. 1.34. Port 8080. Okay. All right. Let's load up Ford again. I'm gonna. Oops, door lock failed. Yeah. It's freaking out over the certificate. I don't know how many certificates I've gotten here. Sorry, there's a lot of motion happening at our front door. Certificate trust settings. So we got port swigger. Continue. I don't know if all of you can see that, but this is a list of all the certificates that I've enabled on my phone. Those are all certificates I've installed on my phone. All So yeah. Anyway, not gonna play with this all day. So as you can see, it's just a lot easier than going into Minim proxy and then copying and pasting the packet into Postman when I can just do it right here. Right click on something. Let's take a different packet. Let's say this one. Right click on that and send to repeater. And just be able to modify this. Let's say instead of put send response, we just say put send responses. And again, send that onto the API, right? So play with it. It's a lot of fun. You can use really any app. There's other apps we can play with as well. Let me see here. Travel app. I don't know. Let's load up Lyft. Right. Right, it's not liking that certificate. I've never changed like midstream from one proxy to the other with two different certificates before, and I guess this is what happens. Anyway, uh, if you go with the proxy, stick with it. Don't change proxies to a different proxy. Like apparently it screws things up. Anyway, yeah. So play with this in your own time. It's a lot of fun. Clearly my advice is register at BugCrowd or HackerOne, Synac, any one of those bug bounty programs, and a lot of the companies out there will put their APIs up for you to hack and blow up and go after. And let's go and move back to Firefox. So go to let's see, I think I'm registered. I'm registered on BugCrowd and HackerOne. Register for an account, set yourself up as a bounty hunter, and vulnerabilities that you find in their APIs, you can submit to them, and if it's accepted, you can be paid for it if they're offering payment. There's people that make over $1 million a year as bounty hunters just selling vulnerabilities to these companies through things like BugCrowd. But my advice is, again, if you're going to do this, make sure they're part of some kind of bug bounty program. Make sure that the API server is in scope, and don't just start targeting APIs and playing around with it. Make sure make sure it's all authorized and on the up and up. Zeely asked, how would you set it up to do this on site? Do you have to be at a home network or can you use your phone or hotspot? Ooh, Z, that's a good question. I did this while in the car. So my wife was driving. I was in the passenger seat. I was using a hotspot on my phone. And I ended up just, setting up the proxy on my laptop. And we just used the hotspot. It does work. Obviously, make sure, especially with 5G, it's even more fun and a lot more practical, right? Than like if you're on 2G. But this is possible to do anywhere as long as you have a network that you can tie your laptop to, your mobile phone to, and be able to get that IP address to be able to point your proxy at. But yes, it is possible. Marilyn Harris, hello, and thank you for joining us. Abby, are we discussing some Frida stuff too here? No Frida today. I will definitely do a video on Frida. That is a very cool tool. For those of you who've not checked into it, Google it. It's a great tool for analyzing the security of mobile apps. Karen, Burp Suite Pro is a must and very inexpensive compared to other tools. I've been using it since 2010. Karen, you rock. That is true. Burp Suite is an amazing tool. I absolutely love it. It's just that Swiss Army knife. It's got everything. And I mean, if any of you in the audience do actually use Minim proxy along with Postman, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with those tools. I just switched from those tools to Burp Suite because I hated just sort of flipping between these different apps. And I've had Minim proxy actually dump core on me, and I've run into problems with it. So it's just Burp Suite's a great tool. So good point, Karen. Thank you. I know hard coding is an issue, hence why it's essential to incorporate static code scanning outside of Burp Suite. Agreed with you, Karen. Static code analysis, dynamic code analysis, DAST, all of that stuff is important. Penetration testing and hacking your own apps, hacking your own APIs, that is incredibly important. So, with that, I guess we'll start to wrap up. Check out any more. I'll put in some of the music to play us out on. Thank you, MME Floresbaum, for liking and subscribing. Mikey Z, thanks for joining us. See any other comments? Abby, thanks for the amazing questions. Marilyn Harris, thank you for joining us. Awesome. All right, no more questions. I'm going to go ahead and close out this show. I appreciate all of you. You inspire me. It's a quote from Trainwreck. Best movie ever. Thank you for joining us today. Sickaville, thank you for joining us. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my videos, share my content. It's the best way that you can support me. I appreciate all of you for joining us today. Thank you. Thank you very much. I love all of you as my fans. Continue to tune in every week on Night TV. Take care of yourselves and each other.